Now we're going to continue on the back of the motorcycle here, and we're going to remove the swing arm next. Now this could be something that's going to pose some issues because sometimes the bearings on these things are really stuck and the swing arm bolt is kind of a bear to get out. This bike is older, obviously it's a 1975. It's been sitting wherever. When I obtained it last, it was sitting in a shed that the floor was rotting out in, and it looked like it had been rained on a few times. And looking at the bike, there's some rust on here and there's some grime and whatnot, and this thing may be stuck together pretty well. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the process of taking the swing arm bolt off and removing the swing arm and some of the pitfalls that can come with that. Now on the right hand side of the bike, you'll see the swing arm bolt, and there's usually these lock tabs here, and they're supposed to be folded over onto this bolt so it can't actually turn itself out. Unfortunately, this one does not have those locked in place, so it's one less task that we'll have to focus on. Now this is a 7/8 inch stud, so we'll go ahead and we'll get on this with the impact and we'll see if we can get this to pull out. Thankfully, this really didn't fight me coming out. A lot of times they'll get stuck here, and this is where you'll have to actually drive the bolt through from the other side. Thankfully, this one's coming apart quite easily. I'm honestly surprised. It looks like it's well greased, and there isn't a lot of rust on this, and you'll see these things get heavily rusted up. With the swing arm bolt out of the way, we can go ahead and pull the swing arm itself, and we can take a look at what we've got. Looking at the swing arm itself, it'll have bushings inside of it. You'll see these guys here. It looks like fresh grease, and it looks like the bearings are new. They look like they're replacement bearings. They are a Timken. The dust shields look like they're in really good shape, so I would assume that this has been rebuilt recently. Also, looking at the bottom here, there's this grease fitting here, a greaser. And this actually has grease on it. That's a little older, but I don't know how long ago this was ridden, and maybe that's part of the deal. It just got greased and then put away and was left dirty. But thankfully, this thing came apart really nicely. Usually, like I said, the swing arm bolt gets stuck in there, and from the frame side here on this side, this is where the swing arm bolt threads into. You'll actually take a drift or something and actually pound the swing arm bolt through, a lot of times ruining that bolt. Thankfully with this one, it's in good shape and it's reusable. When it comes to the swing arm, we'll look at a couple of different key components on here. Obviously you have your shock mounts. These are your rear shock mounts. You have your mount for your chain guard. The rear is here and the front is here. The bottom mounts right here are, or could be, rear peg mounts. Those are internally threaded as well. I know on this frame, the peg mounts were actually also here, but they could be on the swing arm as well. One of the things that you'll see on a bike that hasn't been very well taken care of is this will be worn really thin or very bent. What will happen is someone will put a thin washer on it. You can see this washer is pretty heavily worn out. And what they'll do is they'll over tighten this, which will crush these. And you'll see it on both sides, and that won't allow the adjusters to slide. The left-hand side of this is kind of stuck here, and I can't actually pull that adjuster. But I haven't really tried hard either. I would imagine that I could probably pound that out, but I'm not going to mess with it for the time being. But you'll see these kind of getting worn out. They do make a swing arm saver kit that you can actually screw to the outer part of the swing arm, and that will stiffen this up. I have to say that I'm really impressed with this motorcycle. When this was drug out of the barn and then delivered to me, it looked super rough, and I really thought this thing was going to fight me much more than it has. And pulling that swing arm just makes me believe that someone did care about this bike, and maybe it got lost for a little while. Unfortunately, you see those types of things. Someone passes away, their bike gets left, maybe they moved out of their house real fast and couldn't take everything with them. I don't know. I'm not sure the story on this one, but I know it was in a barn and it was left. And I assumed that this thing was going to be in really bad shape and come apart really hard. But thankfully, it hasn't fought me that much. Well guys, that's it for this one. We're going to move on to some other parts soon, so stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like for me. If you have questions or comments or any concerns, please drop them in that comment section below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Help me grow this channel and continue following this process.